Men over 60 don't usually cut off friends overnight. The distance often grows quietly, until one day everyone thinks it happened suddenly. Conversations become less frequent. Invitations start getting passed over. Calls become shorter than they used to be. At first, nothing seems unusual. Then weeks turn into months. And little by little, someone who used to stay connected starts becoming harder to reach. From the outside, it can look cold, like they stopped caring, but in reality, the change is often quieter than that. And understanding why it happens explains more than most people realize. Navajo Mark 1, social energy starts changing. Getting older does not automatically make someone less social, but after 60, social energy can start feeling different. Activities that once felt effortless may begin requiring more intention. Long conversations can feel more tiring. Large gatherings may feel less rewarding, and constant communication may no longer feel necessary. This does not mean friendships stop mattering. In many cases, priorities simply begin to shift. Time feels more valuable, energy feels more limited, and attention becomes more selective. Instead of reaching out often, some older men begin protecting their time and routine. Messages get answered later. Plans happen less frequently. Contact becomes quieter from the outside. It may look like someone suddenly stopped caring, but sometimes they are not rejecting friendship. They are adjusting to changes in how they spend their energy, and without realizing it, that quiet adjustment can slowly create distance. 2. Retirement quietly changes how friendship works. For decades, friendship often happens without much effort. Daily routines create connection automatically. Seeing familiar faces, sharing schedules, talking without needing a reason. Work becomes part of that rhythm. Not because work replaces friendship, but because repeated contact keeps relationships active. Then retirement arrives, the structure changes. The routine becomes quieter. Days feel more independent, and suddenly, staying connected starts requiring something different. Initiative, planning, choosing to reach out. That transition can feel unfamiliar. Not because relationships stop being important, but because the system supporting those relationships is no longer there. Days become quieter. Weeks move faster, and little by little, distance begins to grow from the outside. It can look like someone chose to disappear, but sometimes the routine disappeared. First honor 3. Friendship starts becoming more selective. Getting older often changes what feels worth keeping. Conversations that once felt normal may start feeling repetitive. Obligations may feel heavier. Energy may feel more valuable. Some older men begin paying closer attention to how relationships make them feel. Less interest in drama. Less patience for one-sided effort. Less need to stay connected out of habit. That does not always mean becoming isolated. Sometimes it means becoming more intentional. But the line between protecting peace and slowly disconnecting can become difficult to notice. Number 4. Silence becomes easier to accept. Youth often rewards staying connected. Older age can make quiet feel comfortable. Schedules become simpler, expectations become smaller, and time alone may start feeling peaceful. There is nothing unhealthy about enjoying solitude, but comfort and distance can slowly look similar. Without noticing, checking in happens less. Conversations become shorter, and relationships stop growing. Eventually, silence becomes normal. Nasha 5. Delaying contact feels harmless. A reply gets postponed, plans get delayed. Days pass, then weeks. Nothing dramatic happens, but connection depends on repetition. And without repeated contact, distance slowly becomes routine. Ash 6. Reaching out starts feeling harder. Missing people does not always lead to reconnecting. Sometimes too much time passes. Questions appear. Will it feel awkward? Did too much time go by? So silence continues. 7. Identity changes after major life transitions. Retirement lifestyle changes. Children becoming independent, a different daily rhythm. Changes like these can quietly reshape how someone sees themselves, and relationships often change along with it. Hasher 8. Independence can slowly become isolation. Being independent is valuable. Enjoying quiet is normal, but meaningful connection still matters. Sometimes distance feels comfortable, until it becomes difficult to return. Isolation rarely feels sudden. Very few people decide to disappear. Most of the time it happens gradually. Less talking, less planning, less sharing, no big moment, no clear ending, just small changes repeated over time. and eventually distance starts feeling normal. Number 10. Others often misunderstand the change. Friends may assume something happened. Maybe anger, maybe disappointment, maybe rejection, but often there was no conflict. Only change, and because quiet change is difficult to see, the distance gets misunderstood. On number 11, meaningful connection still matters. Growing older does not remove the need for connection. Research generally suggests that maintaining meaningful social relationships supports emotional well-being and healthy aging, not endless social activity. Not large groups, just people who still feel familiar. People who still notice, people who still matter. Connection does not need to be constant, but it usually needs to exist. 12. The harsh reality explained. Men over 60 often do not suddenly cut off friends. What looks sudden may actually be years of quiet change. Energy shifts, routines change. Priorities become different, and little by little contact becomes less automatic. Until eventually the distance becomes visible, not because friendship stopped mattering, but because nobody noticed how slowly it was fading. Powder 13. Friendship starts requiring more intention. Earlier in life, friendship often happens naturally. Work, daily routines, shared responsibilities, but later in life, connection becomes less automatic. Keeping friendships alive may start requiring effort. Sending the message first, making plans, following up. Checking in. That shift can feel unfamiliar, especially after years of friendships, maintaining themselves and without realizing it. Waiting for others to reach out can slowly create more distance. No. 14. Emotional needs become less visible. Not everyone expresses loneliness the same way. Some people talk more, others become quieter. Older men are often expected to stay strong, stay independent, and not ask for much. Because of that, emotional needs can become less visible. Connection may still matter deeply, but the desire for connection does not always turn into action. And over time, silence can be mistaken for not caring. Number 15. Staying connected does not mean staying busy. Connection is not measured by how many people someone talks to. It is not measured by constant messages or full schedules. Meaningful relationships can stay strong through simple things: a short call, a familiar conversation, a small check in, a shared routine. Growing older does not mean becoming disconnected, but staying connected often becomes something that needs to be chosen, little by little, before distance starts feeling permanent. Distance rarely appears all at once. Most of the time it grows quietly. A little less contact, a little less effort, a little more silence, until eventually it starts looking like someone suddenly walked away. But sometimes they never meant to leave. Life changed, routines changed, and connection slowly became less automatic. Understanding that difference, why they may change how these moments are seen, and maybe before assuming someone stopped caring. There is still time to reach out,